Chapter 108. Thank you for subscribing and joining us on our storytelling journey. Great cries of celebration rang out as the surviving monsters were put down with the enemy gods who invaded, either surrendering, being cut down, or having some domain that would help them escape the half-hearted chase of the incarnated servants that were called upon my realm. So now what? I asked Hera as I sat down on a bench I teleported behind me, and she smiled wryly. What else is there to do but rebuild? For you, I imagine you will need to find out what to do with all these people and deal with the entity that is tied to their existence. Hera spoke with a frown before shaking her head. For myself, I am a broken being after shattering my connection to the Greek pantheon, so either I will need to go into hiding to deny any survivors their revenge for my retribution, or... She said with meaningful weight to her tone, and I nodded. You are welcome to seek sanctuary here, Hera. I would have lost without your intervention, so giving you asylum and protecting you from the remnants of both our enemies cost me nothing. I said firmly, and she smiled, obviously happy at me getting at what she was hinting at. Hera's smile however faded lightly as she sighed and looked up at the jagged shattered sky above my realm that had broken from the high-intensity battle that had lasted a few hours. I will be in your castle. I suppose you have servants that can arrange me a room or something? She asked, and I nodded, waving with her, bowing her head, and with the sound of fluttering wings moved at great speed in the form of a peacock. But even as she left I saw other people rushing towards me, and at the forefront of them was the Flash and Captain Marvel. Lord, what power did you give me to replace Zeus's lightning? According to the wisdom of Solomon, it is the core of soul manipulation and is Captain Marvel instantly began chattering with the excited speed of the child. He was getting a new toy, and the sight made me chuckle as Dr. Fate also teleported a few meters away from me by seemingly folding reality around him, and I raised an eyebrow as the act actually didn't hurt my realm at all, as the space just unfolded itself when it closed back. Thank you for your help. I spoke up loudly, and I took in the heroes of Earth who came in my time of need, and the couple hundred incarnated servants who survived the battle. I stand here not as the king of this realm but instead as a fellow warrior and hero, and I truly say thank you all for your help, I said wholeheartedly, and sure the Earth heroes nodded with a smile at my gratitude, and so did more of the good alignment of the servants, but many didn't really care as they came and answered the call for the chance at a new life. I understand my newly summoned friends or allies have many questions, but please hold them for a bit while I help settle accounts with my old friends. I finished speaking, and the servants nodded, with the majority of them turning to walk towards my castle in the distance, but some were clearly waiting to speak to me then and there. You moved up in the world, Jake. I remember like not even 6 months ago you were at the Central City Police Department when you just showed up when I and Kid Flash were busting one of our ice-themed villains. Flash said almost nostalgically, and I smiled wryly as so much had happened since then. I had made friends with the team, and even now I saw them talking to Scathach and Chiron. I had found love with multiple women who were inhuman and accepted me having multiple lovers so long as I satisfied their carnal and emotional desires. I had the power to decimate worlds and fought battles with foes I could respect. I nodded as my voice choked up a bit as I spoke. Yeah, man. It's been a ride. Going from a hungry-eating demon in hell to becoming a god king of my own realm and possibly even cucking Zeus. I joked at the end, and Flash gave me a look of such, bruh, really energy, even with the top half of his face covered by the mask, that I couldn't help but break into chuckles with him. You have indeed done well, Jake Barris. Your actions in helping break the chaotic actions of Zeus, who would have thrown the fates of reality into disarray, have been noted, and the Lords of Order officially owe you a favor. I wish you a good day, Jake Barris, and beware Hera, as Greek goddesses are the reason women are feared as spiteful chaotic creatures when provoked. But then again, it took more than 100,000 years for Hera to bring Zeus to his downfall, so maybe you will learn by then. Dr. Fate spoke almost as though ruminating on that future before he seemingly mentally shrugged, and then reality folded around him as he teleported away out of my realm. I just took a deep breath, and even though my body was sore on a soul-deep level, I got up and stood in front of my team. As I began to speak, I was instead met by a super-speed bear hug by Kid Flash that made me grunt at the impact. Bro, you don't just leave us like that, you hear? Sure, joke was fuck nuts, and I get that seeing all the babies in the world dying was terrible, but you should have talked to us. We would have helped. Wally said fiercely as he broke the hug and then slugged me on the shoulder, making me grimace, but I accepted the punch as I did do a dick move in just up and leaving. I'm sorry guys, I said softly, and Superboy clapped me on my shoulder and nodded as he spoke. Like Wally said. Well, kinda anyway, he said sheepishly as he continued. I would have helped you kill those psycho mages who wanted to separate the worlds, though I bet the rest of the team wouldn't have. I would have done it as well, Artemis said bluntly. I would as well, Megan said with a wry smile as Robin and Wally rolled their eyes, as they had all had this conversation before. Anyway, Jake, I heard through the ladies' group chat that you have been super damned busy. That Raven girl and Galatea are pregnant already. Is there a due date and I call dibs as godmother? Artemis said strongly with giggling, but a cough rang out and she froze as we heard the dull thudding noises of Galatea, who was standing behind them with her foot stamping into the ground. I appreciate the offer, Artemis, but Astrid, Jake's fairy retainer, is our children's fairy godmother who will be watching over their every moment of life to protect them, Galatea said wryly, and Astrid herself poked her head out of every single one of our shadows, seemingly like her head was a clone or something. Wherever there is light, my shadows will follow. And my lord, Lady Medusa, is being bullied to tears by her big sisters, and the Knights of King Arthur's Round Table are trying to beat the fairy Knights of the Round Table, with the Knights of Charlemagne bringing the food for the eating competition that is eating out our entire larder. Please help. Astrid almost pleaded, and I facepalmed but nodded. All right everyone, I am going to the castle to join our friends in feasting, let's go. I roared out laughing as Astrid cried out about how our accounts couldn't handle the cost of 5,000 pizzas. I put it on Batman's tab, Robin said, grinning, handing Astrid a credit card with a bat symbol on it. For a moment I thought Astrid was going to make Robin her fairy knight or something with how she looked at him like her greatest savior.